experience of the COVID-19 pandemic. Fear of death, poverty, and losing job is the most common problem every Filipino had to endure. On the other side, we also have been granted a time to be at home together with our loved ones, share joy, happiness, and more time getting together. Less stress in work and less cost for transportation. But why does family conflict unexpectedly arise in some Asian countries, as reported by many reliable sources and studies? Does the pandemic negatively affect the relationship of people? Thus, the COVID-19 and the lockdown related to the societal conflict happening today? To answer that questions in mind, be with us throughout the presentation.
To understand better, let us first know what conflict is. Conflict is a strong disagreement between people or groups that results in often angry argument. In a conflict theory purported by Karl Marx, he claimed that society is in a perpetual conflict because of competition of limited resources. Thus, he laid the foundation for the paradigm of conflict theory. Conflict theory, in a nutshell, was a theory that demonstrated how differences in rights and authority among different groups can lead to disputes and tension between them. This is how elites use their power to control weaker groups. The fundamental criteria in determining a person's place in society were power and rights. Lockdowns, which include stay-at-home orders, curfews, quarantines, cordon sanitaria, and other societal restrictions, have been enacted in several countries and territories around the world as a result of the COVID-19 epidemic. These limits were put in place to keep SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, from spreading farther.
According to the conflict hypothesis, the elites rule the weak and disadvantaged in society. This is like the COVID-19 effect on mental health, in which the wealthy have better access to quality healthcare. As a result, those who are less fortunate in society are more vulnerable to mental illness. The pandemic has caused significant economic hardships for many families, putting them under financial strain. Even when not accompanied with COVID-19 related limits such as social isolation and lockdowns, economic pressure has a substantial influence on mental health, as the prior recessions have demonstrated. To begin with, economic downturns are linked to issues such as job loss, income drop, and rising debt levels, all of which are linked to lower levels of mental well-being and higher rates of mental disorders. Low socioeconomic position is a risk factor for children's and adults' mental health, as the pandemic-induced recession has contributed to the existing observation.
Amidst the COVID-19 pandemic and implementing quarantine, many problems and conflict rise, including economical abuse, political power overuse, and abusing the power. As we think carefully, many politicians and higher-ups abuse their power to the people, making them surrender. For example, in economic abuse, as COVID-19 occurred, prices of the products, basic needs, and necessities are getting high. They're suppressing the people because of what happened, and they can't do anything but to react. Second example is in the abusing power of the higher-ups, as we see that the higher-ups has a lot of privileges to do without getting punishment, even when they break the rules and law during the pandemic. Unlike the lower class, people are getting punished for what they break. They fully exercise their power to subdue the punishment, unlike the lower people. If you fully think about the problem, COVID-19 and the quarantine makes the people struggle from the higher-ups due to many factors.
Now, as you observe, countries, especially poor countries, are lack of resources that made it limited to people to reach out. Common of these are medical and health protection resources, which is very in demand worldwide. People are getting desperate due to their needs that results conflict between them and even between the government. Furthermore, conflict theorists consider this long-term global issue COVID-19 as a natural result of power dynamics. Those with power, such as the government, attempt to maintain social order in the area by enforcing lockdowns, but they only acknowledge the demands of their group when it is in their own best interest. Thus, the authority causes social problems like poverty, crime, and discrimination by exploiting others.
If you look at the situation here in Llano del Sur, the Sunday no movement, those elites benefit from the enforced rules because their office days are reduced to 4 days. They get a rest day and it's like they get a short vacation. Those who are less fortunate, on the other hand, are experiencing hunger or worry as a result of being locked in all day and missing the opportunity to work to feed their families. As a result, there is social inequality. Other issues such as discrimination and crime may occur, which could lead to robberies. In the said conflict theory, it was stated that there are 4 assumptions. First, competition. Second, revolution. Third, structural inequality. And fourth, war. Competition. The first one from the 4 is obviously the primary reason why there's a conflict within a community and even within a family. Competition exists because of the scarcity of resources, including material resources such as money, property, commodities, and even intangible resources. The main idea here is that the pandemic had caused societal conflict due to people's desperation for competing in gaining needed resources, which is very limited.